Oh, Ava doesn't need gifts, my mom smiled while handing my twin sister a MacBook. I silently placed a black envelope on her plate containing 6 years of unauthorized charges and money transfers. Watching her face go pale should be enough for me. At Christmas dinner, my mom gave my sister a MacBook while I got nothing. She smiled and said I didn't need gifts. Seeing my sister open hers should be enough. I nodded and put a black envelope on her plate. She opened it and went pale. The Christmas tree lights twinkled softly behind us. Cinnamon-scented candles flickered on the mantel. The table was filled with roast beef, mashed potatoes, and laughter. "Claire, open that one next," my mom said, her voice full of excitement. My twin sister grabbed a silver-wrapped box from under the tree like it was treasure. Her eyes lit up. "Oh my God, is this the M3 model?" My mom nodded proudly. "With extra storage." Claire squealed so loud it almost shook the wine glasses. "You got me the MacBook. It's exactly what I wanted." More clapping followed. Uncle Leo let out a little cheer. Dad looked up from his phone to smile. "You've worked so hard, sweetheart," Mom said. "You deserve something nice." Claire leaned over and hugged her. "I love you. This is perfect. Seriously." I sat there, hands folded, with just a cloth napkin and a sprig of rosemary in front of me. Claire looked up and asked, "Wait, what about Ava?" That was me. My mom turned to me, still smiling but softer now, almost brushing me off. "Oh, Ava doesn't need gifts," she said. "Watching her sister open hers should be enough." Everyone at the table chuckled, even Claire. I stayed silent, didn't laugh, didn't smile. I just stared at my plate as if the silence was something I had to finish before dessert. My mom turned her focus back to Claire. "You've always been the more expressive one. Ava's always been independent. She gets that from your grandfather," Claire giggled. "She gets the emotional repression from him, too." No one said anything. No one stood up for me. It wasn't new. It was just how things were, born 6 minutes apart, yet we were never treated like equals. Claire once cried during a recital and got flowers for it. I won a regional science competition and got a comment about needing to smile more. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out a black envelope. No ribbon, no tag, just plain paper and a sealed fold. I set it down on my mom's plate right by the mashed potatoes. She blinked and asked, "What's this?" I replied, "Something small," and took a sip of my wine. Claire leaned in like she was watching a live drama. "Oh, suspense," she said. Mom broke the seal and unfolded the paper. Her eyes moved slowly over the page, then faster, and then stopped. Her smile disappeared and her face went pale. Her hand shook a bit as she held the letter. She didn't say a word or blink. Claire frowned and asked, "Mom, what is it?" But Mom didn't respond. She just stared at the paper like it had ruined Christmas. And for the first time that night, I actually felt good. People love to make twins sound magical. They say you must be super close or like built-in best friends. Yeah, try being the twin nobody sees. Claire and I were born 6 minutes apart. She always reminds me she's the older one, like those 6 minutes made her royalty. But it wasn't Claire who made me feel small. Not really. It was our parents. Since we were kids, Claire was the shiny one, the talented one. She sang in the school choir and got standing ovations. I got into an advanced STEM program and Mom told me not to brag. She cried when Claire didn't make cheer captain once, and I overheard Dad tell her, "You're still our shining star," when I got a scholarship offer. Don't get cocky, Ava. College isn't everything. By high school, I stopped sharing things with them. I'd win awards and stash the certificates in a drawer, get straight A's and not mention it. Meanwhile, Claire changed majors 3 times, failed a semester, and still got a new iPhone to stay productive. When I got into med school, Claire cried because Mom missed her nail salon appointment. Guess who got comforted? Things really went downhill after college. I graduated on time with top honors and paid off my student loans by working night shifts. No help, no drama. Claire finished a communications degree at a private school and moved back home after 2 months of trying to be an adult. She said the job market was tough and needed some good vibes. Mom called her brave, and Dad said she could stay as long as she needed. She ended up staying for years. I sent money home every month. Not because they asked directly, but because they dropped hints. The fridge broke again. The car needed a new battery. Claire's therapy wasn't covered by insurance. There was always something. I'd send $500, then $800, then $1,200. No one ever said thank you. Claire once joked, "Well, you're the doctor, you've got it. I'm not a doctor. I'm a trauma nurse and I work 60-hour weeks to get by." But I let it slide because it was family. I didn't want to seem bitter. I kept quiet at every dinner where they gushed over Claire's latest boyfriend while ignoring the fact that I'd built a life on my own. Every time she posted her yoga retreat selfies and my parents shared them with captions like "so proud of our light." Light, I was the one paying their electric bill. The last straw came 2 weeks before Christmas. I was covering a double shift when I got a text from my mom. "Can you send something extra this month?" Claire's been so stressed and could really use something nice for the holidays. I read it on my break, sitting in the hospital supply closet, eating a protein bar I bought with change. That same night, Claire posted an Instagram story from a luxury spa. She tagged a champagne bottle and captioned it "Deserved thanks, universe." I didn't respond to the text. The next day, Mom called. "Sweetheart, just checking in," Claire said. "You've been distant lately. You're not upset, are you?" I swallowed so hard it burned. Upset? No, just busy saving lives, you know. She laughed like I'd made a joke. Then she said it, "Just don't let it get to you." Claire's sensitive. She didn't get how strong you are. You don't need stuff like she does. I looked at the phone like it was about to blow up. That was when I realized I had to quit pretending. This was a family setup. Claire was the boss. I was the one keeping things running. And this Christmas, I decided to trash the plan. I quietly started collecting stuff. Emails, bank statements, screenshots, chat logs, not for payback, not yet. Initially, it was just for me. I needed proof. To see the years I spent paying to keep them quiet. 6 years of sending money for rent, covering emergencies. 3 credit card bills accidentally in my name, and more than $27,000 since 2017. Claire, who never held a job for more than 6 months, had gone on 3 girls' trips this year alone, including one to Greece. She posted a video with the caption, "Manifestation is real." Yeah, my money got her that business class seat, and still my mom had the nerve to say I didn't need presents. Which brings us back to that dinner. With the roast beef, the Christmas lights, the MacBook, and the envelope. Inside that envelope was everything. Printed screenshots of money transfers, dates, amounts, even one of Claire's texts. "Just tell Ava it's for groceries. She always says yes." And stapled behind it was a letter from my bank saying they had reversed 3 unauthorized charges traced back to Claire's account for the latest iPhone, a spa subscription, and a silk robe. My name had been used to sign for these charges, forged by my sister and approved by my mom. I know because she co-signed the Apple Pay account. That's what she was reading when the smile faded from her face and her hands started shaking. When Claire leaned over and asked, "Mom, what's wrong?" And that was just page 1. There were 5 more because this time I wasn't there to be the quiet twin. This time I came with proof. Silence. That's what happened after my mom finished reading the first 2 pages. Claire leaned across the table again, even more annoyed. "Mom, what's going on? You're kind of killing the mood right now." My mom didn't say anything. She just looked at me, not smiling anymore. Her lips parted a bit like she wanted to say something but couldn't come up with a good enough lie. Claire grabbed the envelope from her hand. What's all this drama?" She started reading, and I could see her smug attitude disappear. Her eyebrows pulled together and her mouth slowly dropped open. Her fingers were trembling as she flipped to the next page, the one with the fake signature. Then she froze. "Have you been going through my stuff?" she hissed, her voice suddenly sharp. "You used my name to open a credit line," I said calmly. "You stole from me, Claire." Her eyes darted around the table. "That's crazy. I didn't do this. This is fake." "It's not," I said. "The bank already confirmed the IP address, your email, your phone number." I turned to my mom. "And yours. You approved one of the payments, remember, for her birthday trip. You said it was an accident." My mom's mouth shut tight. Her face looked like it could shatter. Dad finally looked up from his phone. "What's going on?" I ignored him. "I've been paying for this family since I was 23. Quietly, consistently. I kept telling myself it was temporary, that one day someone would say thank you." I looked at my sister, but instead you called me emotionally repressed in front of everyone. You made fun of me. And today you unwrapped a $2,000 laptop while I sat here with nothing. Claire stood up faster. Her chair screeched. "This is pathetic. You're doing this now, on Christmas." "Yeah," I said, standing up too, "on Christmas. Since you said it's all about energy and vibes, I thought I'd finally match yours. You don't get to act like a victim," she snapped. "You're the one who's always been cold, distant. You think you're better than everyone." Because I had to be, I blew up. "You got to be all soft, loud, needy. You had the space to lose it. I didn't. I was the backup plan when your life didn't pan out." My voice trembled, not from fear, but from years of pressure finally letting go. "I paid your rent. I fixed mom and dad's plumbing. I bought groceries I didn't eat. And vacations I wasn't asked to join." Claire's jaw dropped. "You think that makes you a martyr? You're just bitter. That's all this is." "No," I replied. "I'm finished." My mom finally stood up. "Ava, please sit down," but I stayed put. "You said I don't need presents, that watching Claire open hers should be enough." I turned to her, looking her in the eye. "Well, now you get to watch me do something too." I reached into my purse and pulled out another envelope. This one was red. I slid it across the table. "What's that?" my dad asked. "A termination letter," I said. "Starting January 1, I won't be sending money to this household anymore." "No transfers, no help, no surprises." Claire scoffed. "Wow, you think you're some kind of hero now? I think I've been quiet for too long." Mom's face turned red. "How do you bring this kind of energy into our home?" "This isn't a home," I snapped. "This is a throne room where Claire gets to be queen and the rest of us are servants." "You're blowing this out of proportion," Dad muttered. "You're making us all uncomfortable." "Good," I said. "You should be uncomfortable." The room went totally quiet. Even the fireplace, crackling in the background, seemed to hush. Then Claire broke the silence. "You're overreacting because you didn't get a gift." I laughed. Actually laughed. You're right, I said. You got a MacBook. I got fraud. Her mouth twisted. You always had a way of making everything about you, and you always had a way of getting away with everything. She lunged forward, jabbing a finger toward the stack of papers. You really went behind my back to pull this all together like some kind of cop. No, I said, meeting her eyes. Like someone who finally got fed up with being ripped off and mocked. You're disgusting, she said sharply. But her voice wavered, and that's when it hit me. She wasn't just mad. She was scared, because she knew I was serious. This time I wasn't bluffing. My mom took a deep breath and tried one last trick, the one she always used when nothing else worked. We're your family, Ava, and I just smiled. Not anymore. I didn't slam the door when I left. No yelling, no tears. I just walked out of that Christmas dinner like someone leaving a sinking ship. No panic, just determination. The cool night air hit my face like a fresh start. For once, I wasn't cold. I walked 3 blocks in silence before it all hit me. Not guilt, not regret, just relief. I wasn't theirs anymore, not their financial backup, not their quiet partner, not their shadow, just Ava. Finally. The next morning, I woke up to 27 missed messages. Claire, Mom, even my dad, who hadn't texted me in over a year. You ruined Christmas. This was unnecessary and cruel. Let's talk before you go too far. We're family. We can fix this. I didn't reply. That afternoon, my dad called. I let it ring 3 times before picking up. Maybe I was curious. His voice was low and tired. Your mother hasn't come out of the bedroom, he said. She says it was the worst Christmas of her life. I paused, then said flatly, well, I guess it finally matches how most of mine felt. He sighed. Ava, this doesn't have to be forever. I looked out the window. It was lightly snowing, quiet, peaceful. No, I said, but it does have to be real, and I hung up. 3 days went by in silence, then a text from Claire. I didn't know you were keeping score all these years. You could have just talked to me. You didn't have to make it a scene. It's funny how the people who thrived in drama suddenly wanted peace when they weren't the center of it. I didn't reply to her either. A week after that dinner, I packed up and moved to a new spot on the other side of town. It was small, unfurnished, and came with no baggage. I found a tiny fake tree at a thrift store and decked it out with lights and old ornaments from the dollar store. It was my first Christmas tree that wasn't weighed down by expectations. On New Year's Eve, I curled up next to it in a blanket, my phone switched to silent. No calls, no fake apologies, just quiet and peace. Then something unexpected happened. I got an actual letter in the mail. I almost tossed it, thinking it was junk, but the handwriting caught my eye. It was neat and somehow familiar. It was from Melissa, one of Claire's old friends. We hadn't talked in years. Ava, this might be a bit odd, but I saw what you did. The Christmas dinner. I heard about it from someone who was there, and I just wanted to say thank you. You said what so many of us were too scared to say. Claire has been burning bridges for years. She used people, manipulated them, and somehow always got away with it, but you finally stopped her. And you did it with facts, not anger. You didn't just blow everything up. You broke the spell. It helped me do the same with someone in my life. You gave me the courage to walk away. I don't know if you'll care, but I wanted you to know what you did mattered. Happy New Year, Melissa. I sat on the couch and read the letter 3 times. It wasn't long or fancy, but it was the most genuine thing anyone had said to me in a long time. I put it on my bookshelf, right next to a little ceramic angel I'd kept since I was a kid, the only ornament that hadn't been broken over the years. You'd think things would get loud after that, but they didn't. No storm, no yelling. Just a slow, steady unraveling of years of weight I didn't even realize I was carrying. Claire never called again. She posted something vague on Instagram about toxic energy and rising above. Mom went completely silent, like radio silence. Dad texted me back in January saying, your sister's moving in with us, just FYI. I just replied, that's between you and her. And honestly, it was the first time I didn't feel like I had to explain myself, didn't feel like I owed anyone an explanation. I wasn't being difficult or bitter, I was just over it. And freedom, it didn't feel like a big celebration. It was more like a quiet that finally felt okay. Some folks think healing happens with closure, like one day everything just clicks and makes sense. Like there's this magical moment when you forgive, forget, and move on all neat and tidy. That wasn't my experience. Closure didn't come as an apology or in a nicely worded letter. It didn't even come from them. It happened in bits and pieces. Like the day I stepped into my new place and realized I didn't need to check my phone for their urgent requests. Or the first time I got my paycheck and didn't have to send half of it away. Or when I walked by a shiny MacBook in a store and didn't feel a thing. I still get messages now and then. A birthday text, a hope you're well. Claire once sent me an Instagram reel with no caption, just a quote saying, letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means knowing you deserve peace. I didn't answer because if she truly believed that quote, she'd get why I left. People ask if I miss them, and I don't lie. Sometimes I miss the idea of family, but I don't miss who I had to be to keep that fantasy going. I don't miss tiptoeing around my own mom. I don't miss being told my silence was strength when it was really just survival. I don't miss being the independent one so others didn't have to grow up. Now I fill my life with things I never thought I deserved. Time, quiet, boundaries. I wake up and sip my coffee without a bunch of messages asking for help. I bought a bookshelf not to impress anyone, but because I love stories. I head to bed without feeling like there's a lump in my throat. Some nights I still hear my mom's voice echoing in my mind. You don't need anything, Ava. Watching your sister open hers should be enough. But that voice is fading, losing its grip, becoming less important. Because I've realized it was never really about the presents. It was about being taught I didn't deserve much. They wanted me to think my worth was in how much I could give away, how little I could need, how much I could shrink myself to keep others happy. But I'm done making myself small. A few months after Christmas, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Normally, I'd ignore it, but that day I answered. Is this Ava? A woman asked. Her voice was new to me, sounded tired but kind. Yes, who's this? My name's Lena. I used to work with your sister. That got my attention. She talked about you, she went on. A lot, not always in a nice way, but that night, Christmas, something changed. Claire stopped coming around, people started seeing her differently. I just wanted to say you gave some of us the guts to speak up too. I was speechless. She paused. I hope you're doing okay, that's it, just thank you. She hung up. And I sat there, phone in hand, realizing I hadn't just walked away. I'd drawn a line, one they never expected me to cross. And maybe that was the real gift. Not revenge, not validation, not even peace. Just the quiet, steady truth that I am not the bad guy for refusing to be their victim. I don't regret anything, not the envelope, not the confrontation, not leaving. And if I had to do it again, I'd leave sooner. So no, I'm not the cold one. I'm the one who finally learned that family isn't about guilt. It's not about blood, it's about respect. And when that's gone, you owe them nothing. Not your time, not your money, not your silence. This year, for Christmas, I got myself something small, a gold necklace. It says one word, enough. And for the first time in my life, I believe it. Thanks a ton for the amazing response. I never thought the post would take off like this. Honestly, I wrote it at 2 a.m. the night after I left. I was tossing and turning, needing to get the truth out of my head. Reddit seemed safer than sending another ignored message to someone who never really noticed me. A lot of you said you saw yourselves in my story. The strong one, the quiet one, the one who's left out but still expected to give more. Reading your comments made me realize I'm not crazy. I'm not overreacting, I'm not bitter, I was just done. To everyone who said, good for you, proud of you, that took real you. That support meant more than you know. After years of being gaslit into silence, hearing hundreds of strangers say, I believe you is surreal and healing. For those who asked what was in the envelope, it was proof of 6 years of payments, texts where they admitted to manipulating me, and evidence my sister opened accounts in my name. It wasn't petty, it was facts. To the few who said I shouldn't have ruined Christmas or that it was too much, I get it. I do. It probably seemed harsh from the outside, but what do you do when you've spent years being quiet, giving, loyal, and they still call you ungrateful? How many Christmases do you sit through smiling while you're erased at your own family table? I didn't ruin Christmas. They ruined years of my life. All I did was finally stop playing along. And the silence that followed didn't hurt like I thought it would. It felt deserved. Now I'm rebuilding slowly, quietly, without them. But I still wonder about something, and I'd love to hear from others who have been in similar spots. Why does setting boundaries always get called selfish, especially when you've spent your whole life giving? Did anyone else only find their voice after being pushed to the edge? Let me know, Ava.